Alex's first listener. Some nights the tavern grows quieter than usual. Not empty. It's never empty, but soft in a way that invites remembering. The fire settles into steady embers. The cat claims the warmest stone by the hearth and refuses to negotiate. Alex moves through the room with an easy rhythm he's carried over years of practice. It was on a night like this that I found myself watching him and thinking about the first time he ever listened to someone here. Not served, not guided, listened. There's a huge difference. I poured 2 cups and slid one toward him. He raised an eyebrow. "You're in a remembering mood," he said. "I am," I replied. "Do you remember your first listener?" His ears colored slightly. That told me he did. And so I began. Alex had not been with the tavern long. Back then, he still moved like a guest who was afraid to touch anything too firmly. He worried about breaking the quiet. He believed listening was something you had to earn permission to do. The cat, even then, was supremely confident in his ownership of the premises. He slept across the bar like a furry barricade, forcing Alex to serve drinks by carefully reaching around him. The door opened to admit a traveler carrying exhaustion like a second coat. He was young, but his eyes had the distant look of someone who had to run out of places to put his worries. I occupied myself in the back, tending to a stubborn kettle, so Alex was the one who greeted him. The traveler sat and said nothing. Alex looked once at me, and I nodded from across the room. This one was his. At first, Alex tried to fill the silence. He offered a drink, adjusted the lantern, asked gentle questions that drifted into the air and dissolved unanswered. The traveler stared into the surface of his cup as though searching for courage at the bottom. The cat leapt onto the table between them and sat directly on the traveler's sleeve. This was not helpful. The young man blinked, surprised into a small laugh. His hand rose automatically to pet the cat, fingers sinking into warm fur. His shoulders lowered a fraction. Alex noticed. And then he did something important. He stopped talking. He simply sat, present, unmoving, allowing the silence to exist without trying to repair it. Minutes passed. The fire spoke softly. The cat purred with authority of a creature convinced he was single-handedly solving the situation. Finally, the traveler exhaled. "I don't know who to be," he whispered. The words were fragile, barely formed, but Alex did not rush to answer. He did not offer advice or wisdom borrowed from books. He nodded once and waited. Watching them, I remember thinking how strange it is that listening looks like doing nothing. Alex's entire focus rested upon that young man, not probing, not fixing, just holding space the way the tavern itself does. The traveler spoke in fragments about expectations that did not fit, about paths chosen to please voices that weren't his own. Each sentence arrived like a hesitant step across uncertain ground. The cat, deciding progress was too slow, sprawled across the traveler's lap and demanded both hands for petting. This interruption, absurd as it was, loosened something. The young man smiled through ache and his confession. His words flowed easier after that. Alex remained steady, a quiet harbor. When the traveler's voice finally ran dry, the room felt lighter. Not solved, but shared. And shared burdens change shape. The young man looked up at Alex with eyes clearer than when he'd entered. "You didn't tell me what to do," he said. Alex shook his head. "It wasn't mine to tell." The traveler considered this. Then he laughed softly. "I think I knew the answer before I sat down," he admitted. "I just needed to hear it out loud." He stood, steadier now, and placed a coin on the table that was less payment than gratitude. Before leaving, he scratched the cat behind the ears. "Terrible helper," he murmured fondly. The cat blinked slowly, accepting praise he absolutely did not deserve. When the door closed, Alex looked at me as though he'd discovered something fragile and miraculous. "I didn't fix anything," he said. "No," I agreed gently. "You listened. That's rarer." He absorbed that quietly. You could almost see the understanding settling into place. That night, Alex stopped trying to become someone impressive. He started trying to become someone present, and the tavern changed shape around him in response. Years later, the pattern remains the same. Travelers arrive carrying storms. Alex meets them with the calm he earned that first night. He knows now that listening is not passive, it is an act of courage, the willingness to sit beside another person's uncertainty without turning away. From time to time, the cat still interferes. He inserts himself into conversations, sprawls across important papers, and believes every emotional breakthrough is directly attributable to his involvement. We allow him this illusion, or perhaps it's not an illusion, both of which are valid. I finished the story and looked at Alex across the bar. He shook his head, embarrassed without smiling. "I was terrified," he admitted. "You were," I said, "and you stayed anyway." The cat flicked his tail, as if concluding the matter had been properly documented. The fire settled deeper into its glow. The tavern breathed around us, full of echoes from countless conversations built on that first act of listening. And I felt the quiet pride of watching someone grow into exactly who they were meant to be. Sometimes the greatest kindness in the world looks like stillness. It is the choice to remain, to listen, to let another voice exist without interruption. Tonight, if your thoughts feel heavy, remember this: there is power in being heard, and equal power in offering that gift to someone else. The fire is warm, the door is closed, and here your voice has a place to rest. Good night, traveler.